Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So recently I decided to do some knotless box braids on my hair, and I used two methods. I did the crochet method and then I did the regular method where you just add hair on as you braid. So I started off with the crochet method, and as you can see, what you do is you just have to part your hair into braids. You don't have to braid all the way down, but I don't know why I was being extra and I decided to do that, so that's what I did. And then you need to get a crochet hook, and you want to pull a section of hair through the braid. As you can see, I'm doing that not so successfully. You see the tangles? That was definitely like a really big issue. But yeah, make sure the sections are not too big. I mean, obviously it depends on how big you want your braids to be, but I just wanted mine to be medium sized, so I used two considerably small sized braids or pieces of hair for the braid. And while the sizes weren't all the same, they were relatively similar, and that was good enough for me because I was trying to get this done ASAP because your girl was getting impatient. So yeah, I'm just braiding, and I'm not the best braider. As you'll see later on, I do deal with a lot of tangling. But when you're pulling the hair through the braid, what you want to do is, for the first piece, you want to pull that through the middle of the braid, if that makes sense, as you can see. And then you can see the tangles. Oh my gosh. And then for the second piece of hair, you want to pull it through like on top, above that first piece of hair, that first section. It should go on top. I don't know if that's making sense, but you can see I'm kind of pulling it through above where that first section was, just so it doesn't get too like messy or whatever. And I will link the video where I got the idea to do this method from. So yeah, you can see the hair is really tangling up right now. That is something I literally had to deal with for like the majority of my day, and it was extremely frustrating to the point where I had to like just stop with this method completely because it was just so time consuming and frustrating, and I was just tired. Okay, like mans was tired. But one of the good things about the crochet method is that you don't have to constantly be adding in hair as you braid downwards. Once you put all the hair through the braid, you just braid as regular. And here you can see I did about half of my head using the crochet method, and while it doesn't look bad, it's not perfect. Obviously the parts were like a little bit off, but I mean, I'm not a professional, so yeah. Fast forward to a couple hours later. I started this around 11 a.m. and I ended around maybe 9 p.m. Maybe even later than that. I'm not 100% sure, but I finished late at night. As you can see, it's darker in the scene. But like I said earlier, what had happened is that I just got way too impatient with the crochet method. The tangling was just too much. I don't know, maybe I was just being impatient with it, or my technique wasn't good enough, but it was just a bit too much for me and it was taking too long. So I decided to try the traditional method, which I have tried before. In one of my earlier videos, you can see that I actually do have knotless braids in. I did that myself, and it wasn't perfect in any way, but it was a start. So yeah, here I am doing that. And what I found is that this method is actually a lot quicker. Well, it was quicker for me, at least. For someone who has experience braiding, it was a lot easier than I thought it would be. So if you're not accustomed to braiding at all, then I would probably stick to the crochet method if you have the patience for it. But if you do have some experience with braiding, I do recommend doing the regular method, the feed-in method, I think that's what you call it. I don't know. But yeah, it was just a lot quicker, and I do feel like it laid a lot flatter than the crochet method. Though the crochet method doesn't look bad, I'm glad I did the regular method on the front of my hair because I do feel like it laid flats there, which is what I really wanted. So yeah. So if you don't know how to do the regular method, basically what you do is you start with just your hair and you braid that down about once or twice, and then you take a piece of hair and you add that into the braid, and then you add maybe another piece or two until you get the desired size or the desired thickness that you want. There are lots of videos that go more in depth and that explain it better than I would, but it is definitely something that takes a lot of practice. I'm definitely not perfect at it in any way, and honestly I still encountered a lot of tangles, but honestly that's just how it goes. I experienced a lot of tangles, but it wasn't nearly as bad. Well, okay, let me not say that. It was bad, but it wasn't as bad as the crochet method and the tangles I got from that. So, yeah, this took me a while to do, but when I finished, it was worth it because, like I said in my other video, I'm trying to grow out my hair, and protective styling is one way that I plan on doing that. So yeah. Yeah, so when I finished doing the braids and everything, I obviously dipped the ends in some hot water, and I also trimmed the hair a little bit, make it look a little bit cleaner. And then I also put a do-rag or a scarf on my head to flatten it out because I really wanted it to look flat. And here you will be able to see the final result. So don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time.